Hello my lovely viewers. Welcome back to another video of adulting. Yes, I said that right. Definitely keeping that intro. Anyways, you're an adult now. You have a job. Have some money. But wait. Before you can have that, you need to know how to handle it. You're going to need some help. Get yourself some notebooks. Don't matter the size, the pretty pictures, pretty stick on it. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about him. But you're going to need notebooks. A notepad will do too. Or even using your phone. Whatever you can do, you need some way to keep track of your expenses. I made up a handy dandy little guide here to help demonstrate what you need to do. Let's get into that. So here I have written out some dates, payments, what you need to keep track of. How much you get paid per check. For this demonstration, you're getting paid every 2 weeks. Hence the dates. With this first number here being the date your check comes in. You'll need to keep track of when that is. Yes, holidays and special occasions will alter that time. You may get it sooner, you may get it later, typically sooner. I've always gone sooner. I don't know of anything that really delays it. Anyways, now how much you get paid in a week differs between, first, are you part-time or full-time? For this scenario, we're going to say that you're part-time. So your tax might be on the smallest side. This here, let's say you're earning, for this example, 17 hours. So $17 per hour. We're going to do the American amount because why not? I feel like that's most people that usually watches these things. That feels like a snub. You know what? Deal with it. Divided by 17. That would be 40 hours. So 20 hours per week. So you work 20 hours a week. Yeah, that's definitely part-time. If you're working 40 hours per week, that's full-time. Which, that would be considerably more. First off, you're multiplying that to 80 times that 17, then you'd be looking at something closer to this. Though you have to take into account taxes, so income tax, all the lovely other things they like to take out. So your net worth might be closer to that 1,000 mark, assuming you're getting those 80 hours in total for 2 weeks. Let's have that aside. Right now we're dealing with our part-timer here, who's gotten 20 hours per week for a total of this. We're not worrying about the taxes right now. For this, taxes don't exist. Your real check, taxes very much exist. So let's say you get paid $680 during your pay period. How much do you have to pay in bills? Again, this is just an example. You're going to pay a lot more than this. But for this example, let's just say you've got roommates, so your part of it is less. This goes to your rent, this goes to the utilities, this is your share. You have some very generous roommates, and you're contributing. So all you got to do about is that $200. But you can't just set money aside for your rent. You also have to set money aside for savings, for emergencies, for maybe you want to save up for a trip, or maybe just in case money for something that you don't know yet, but you might need that money for it. So you're going to want that as well. That's going to go into a savings account, preferably with your bank. Interest is your friend. Let me tell you that. Interest is your friend, because that 100 will turn into more. It will steadily grow the longer it sits. And the more you add to it, the bigger it grows. So, you've got 680. You've taken out your bills. You've taken out your savings. What does that leave you? That leaves you with 380. Now, assuming that you don't set more of this aside to go into your savings, then you've got 300 to play around with for the next 2 weeks. Fun, right? I do recommend putting more into the savings, or into a separate savings even. One a little more specified to certain needs and desires. We'll get into that a little later. But right now, there you are. And then in this spot, you're going to keep track of how much you spend. So let's say you just got your check, you set everything aside that you need to set aside. You want to treat yourself. You want to go out to eat, go out with your friends. Let's say you go to your local fast food joint. Combos are expensive these days, so you spend at least somewhere around $20. All right, you've got $20 in your that you've now spent. That is no longer part of this. Leave that as it is, and right here is your 20. So that leaves you with 360 left. Keep track of that. If you need to write it down somewhere to show the subtraction amount, then do so. Set up however you believe that you need to in order to know how much you'll need. Alright, and let's say a couple of days go by, you've got to pick up some groceries. You definitely need groceries. Your spending money is not all play money. Keep that in mind. That's very important there. So you've got some groceries for the next week. Groceries are expensive. That's cost a pretty penny. So let's say you spend $100 on groceries. So that combined with the 20 you already spent, sorry. I put a 0 there. I was thinking of 100. So you've got $120. 100 from the groceries, the 20 from going out to eat. Alright, it's only been 3 days there since you've gotten your check. Alright? We're getting close to the amount that right here, we're getting close to that amount we set aside for spending for the next 2 weeks. It's only been 3 days. That's not very good right there. So, yeah. In short, just keep track of how much you're spending. Because you've only got so much to spend. It's very limited. And it can add up very quickly. Before you know it, you're creeping closer and closer and closer to that 380 or however much you've set aside to be able to spend in those 2 weeks. You can't tell what that is. That looks like a smudgy mess. Point is, watch how much you spend. Don't be irresponsible. Don't be irresponsible. Alright, so let's go to our next check. Let's say it's been a slower week. Slower week, there's less business, you've had considerably less hours. So, what do you do now? Got less hours. Say each week, maybe you've only got 10 hours this week. So that's 10 hours, 2 hours, times 70. So, that's 10 hours per week. The next week, it's another 10 hours. So, you multiply that. A total of 20 hours within 2 weeks. That is not a lot of time. And let's add that up by this amount. $340. That's how much you've made. That's not even enough. That's hardly enough to cover your bills. So that now becomes $140, and then there. It's gone down now to just $40. $40 is all you have to spend. And that has to go to your groceries, has to go to any surprise things, like maybe you have to get your car fixed, Maybe go get the oil changed. There are other adulting things you have to take care of. Let's just hope that you're in a situation that you can handle that little bit of an amount. And maybe you're a student. You're a student living at home. Parents cover most of it. You occasionally help out with, say, bills, surprise expenses. So otherwise you do have some spending money. In this pay period, it's really not a lot. You might buy a video game or two, who knows. Watch for sales, children. And again, watch how much you spend. Because you don't want to wind up spending too much. Because that adds up. We'll get into that in a moment. Let's say you were responsible this period. You've only spent $30. But then the next pay period comes. Same thing again. Maybe your schedule just really is not open for a lot of work periods. Let's go with that scenario of a student. You're a student. Most of your focus is going into your school. Work is really just... it's some extra money. You help a little bit with the expenses of the house. But generally speaking, this is not the source of everyone's main income. It just covers a few extra costs. Which is good, because you only got $430 again. Same thing as last time. You wound up with $40. But you dipped a little bit into your savings from the previous checks. You dipped in. So now you spent a bit on Amazon. Oh dear. You only had $40 to spend after this. After these, you only had $40. But you spent $50. So really, your spending amount is... you got absolutely nothing. But again, like we said, you dipped into your savings. Let's say you pulled out $100. Nice even $100 to cover some expenses. So that 40, 50 minus the 100, you got $10. You got $10 to spend. But you really weren't responsible. You kept dipping into your savings. You kept going. So that grew a bit more. So we were spending. No, hang on. How much you should spend is still that. But how much you spent? Oh, dearie. Oh, dearie. You were very irresponsible. You were very irresponsible right there. So now, to keep track of that, how much did you overspend? Let's see, you were supposed to only spend $10. I think we can figure that one out. That's a lot of overspending. What are you thinking? Oh, wait, look at this. We didn't learn our lesson. We got a few more hours though. We've got a few more hours, so we've got... let's say you've got a couple more shifts in the week. So, 10 hours a week turned into 20 hours that one week, and 15 the other. Oh, look at that. Listen, it's not bad. Could be better. 17. Oh, look at that. You got a little bit more. You got a bit more. Good. That can go into covering this overspent. So, we subtract our bills. We subtract our savings that we're going to put aside. Oh, you did another Amazon purchase. Let's keep track of that. You did this one before. You wrote it down so that you can subtract it from this check. Good, very good. Oh, what's this? Shopify. Oh, that's a dangerous trap to fall into. You broke your orders up into 4 even payments. So now. We take out $24 from this check. Oh, that's not a lot right there. So where does that leave us? You've got only 257. That is not enough to subtract from there. So what do we do there? You've got a negative again. Do you dip into your savings? So here's what I would do. You got this overspent. Now you do have your savings that you fall back onto. But what this amounts to is this is your savings. This is what should be in there. This should be in your savings. But instead, it's elsewhere, spent, gone. To simplify matters, you are in debt. But not to a loan provider, rather to yourself. Well, you are also in debt to a loan provider. Shopify would like their money. But don't worry, they're patient. They're going to wait 6 weeks to get the rest of it. So, let's go on. What's the next week here? I'm going to ignore the dates right now. But right, so here's your next week, your next pay period. You've picked up a few hours. You have gotten, let's say, $6.50 for a nice round number. You picked up some hours, got a little bigger of a check. It's not much, but we can work with this. $6.50 minus your bills, minus your savings, we're down to $3.50. Shopify, that's still an issue. Don't worry, we've only got 2 more payments left. So, $6.50 minus this, and this. Now we've got 326. 326, and we still have overspent. Oh dear. As we've carried that over from our last check, we still have to deal with that. But what did we spend last check that has impacted this? Has this been impacted in any way? Let's put that there for safekeeping, but let's take a look at this. So, our last check was rather small. Our spending amount was only $257. But again, we have other adulting things besides bills and setting aside. We had groceries. We had gas. It's been a little high lately. And once again, we treated ourselves a little bit. We went out to eat. This was just us. This was just one meal. It's rather expensive. So leaves us with $75. But we can take that $75 and remove it from there. The surplus from one check can help with the overspending of a second one. $271. That is far more manageable than that. So, with the spending from money that we now have from this bigger check, and we've been a little more responsible, so we only have one extra expense, we can take this out of that. So that now equals -$55. Well, that's still not what we wanted. So we still have some overspent. But again, this is far more manageable than that. So really, we should not be spending anything. We should not be spending anything. We may need to dip into our savings, though, to cover those extra expenses. Like I said, groceries, gas. Let's keep the treats a little, let's limit ourselves a little bit. You want a few to keep yourself sane, but maybe just a little less. Let's say maybe some $5 ice cream or something. If you get one of those big tubs, you save a whole lot of money than if you get those little itty bitty individual packages. Trust me on that. So you see that it is very easy to fall into the trap of self-debt. You have your savings to fall back on. It's another use for them. Getting yourself out of jams you put yourself into by being a little bit too greedy. All those extras non-essentials. So, what are your options here? What can you do to get yourself out of self-debt? You've got two options. The first one is obvious. Be more careful with how much you spend, keeping close watch on that, and put a lot away into saving. That will then cover that debt that you have accrued and eventually put it into the negatives. The other one, well, again, this one's also obvious. Increase your hours at work. Certainly faster. You'll be able to cover things a lot quicker. But keep in mind your own energy levels, what you are capable of, as well as the other responsibilities in your life. If you happen to be a student, you do need that work-life balance. In this case, work-life-school balance. Things get a little trickier. So take a look at your schedule, see where you can increase if you believe that to be an option. See if it is an option. It might not be, but it might. You never know. Even if it's just a few extra hours on the weekend. I don't know about you lot, but they're always looking for people to work the weekend. Where I am. Always. I hate working the weekends. But it's also some of my longest shifts. For a good reason. So, at the end of this, be responsible with your spending. I don't really have anything else to write down. I don't know why I picked that up, but just be careful with your spending and keep track of it. Track of everything you are spending. Because every penny, you need that. Personally, I say round up to the next dollar. Not to the lowest dollar. I say you spent $5.52, you want to go up. Let's say you spent $5.32, go up. Always go up. After a while, you will have what I call money in the shadow zone. Because this becomes this, and this becomes this. That means you've got nearly $1 in the shadow zone. And that will be your imaginary cushion. Trust me, it has saved me so much trouble. Oh, boy, indeed, that has saved me trouble. And it will save you trouble. Put money in the shadow zone. Editor Kashagan here. Just wanted to do a quick note, clarification. That amount I'm saying to round up on, that is money you have spent. Like say it's on a coffee, on a candy bar, on whatever. If you spent that money and you have change left over, you're going to round up on that. The next dollar. In contrast, on your check that you are paid, you're going to round down. That is how you get that extra money, that extra few cents on the side that eventually you'll forget is there. You know it's there, but you don't know how much, so you don't calculate it into how much you have to spend. It is just there. What you spent goes up. What you're paid goes down. Keep that in mind. There we are. Speaking of savings, here's how you can break those down. You've got an emergency fund. You've got a car fund. Like maybe you're saving up for a car. Or this is money set aside specifically to fix your car. Oh, maybe you want to go on a vacation. Or you just want some play money. Play money is always good. We like that. That's money that you can spend on that random shopping trip that you really, really shouldn't have gone on. Anyways, here's how you can put your savings into separate categories. Check with your bank and see if you can make multiple savings accounts. Again, that interest you're going to get from these is priceless. You are going to want this. Don't set it away in your cash card. Don't set it away in your Venmo. No. Put it in your bank. 1, more secure. 2, interest. Trust me, that is very helpful. We definitely want interest. It adds up so quickly. The more money you have in your savings accounts, in each one, the higher your interest is, the lower it is. The less it is. But again, the more, the higher. The higher amount. It does go by percentages. Hence why the more you have in your savings, the better you are than if you had less. It's another incentive not to spend willy-nilly. Stay away from the malls. Stay away from random cutesy. Just careful what you spend on. You didn't see anything. Yep. Oh, well, that'll do. If you have any questions or if you think I can explain this easier, please hit me up in the comment section below. To me, this all makes sense and is fairly straightforward. Of course, I've been using this method for several years now, so of course it makes sense to me. But I know I can also be difficult when explaining. So if you have any questions or would prefer a follow-up to this, then do say so. I can't read minds. I'm not entirely certain how many people are actually watching this. I really hope someone gets something out of this. Anyways, that's it. Have a lovely rest of your day. Cash is out. Peace!